It's another beautiful day out here in the Shire.
All right, let's do it.
So let's head inside and see what Renee is up to in the kitchen.
This recipe uses something that you don't normally see in modern biscuit dough. But in the 1940s, it was a pantry staple. When you use it the right way, it makes layers that practically lift off the tray. And I'm going to show you a special technique to give you even more layers. Okay, so I have my oven preheating at 475, and we're going to start with some flour. And, oh, yes. The next ingredient is called Bakewell Cream. This was invented during World War II because there was a cream of tartar shortage. So it's basically a glorified baking powder, but it's just simply amazing, and I've been using this for years. So we're going to use some of this, and we'll put that in. Baking soda and salt. So what we'll do with those is we'll whisk that all together. Make sure you get that all mixed up. All right, so now I've taken a stick of butter. I cubed the butter, and I'm going to mix this in. Now this is kind of like pie dough. This is cold, and there's going to be some snapping going on when it hits the heat, which is why the heat is so high. So we're going to cut this in. This is a pastry blender. We're just going to cut this in until it looks like chunky, looks like, I guess, little pebbles is the best way to say that. But it only, I mean, that took me about a minute to get this right, so. All right, so basically we've got butter in there that is, you can see the chunks of butter, they're just, this is perfect. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pour cold whole milk in with this. And once you pour this in, you want to get this stirred up as quickly as possible. So we're gonna just put this in. We're going to mix this together. You don't want to touch this too much, and I think that's perfect, so I'm going to leave that alone. You just want to stir that until it's wet. And then we're going to just make sure our counter is dry. I'm going to put some flour down on the counter. And we're going to dump this out onto the counter. And then we're going to knead this just 4 or 5 times to make sure that's together, but you don't want to touch this too much because you don't want that butter to melt in there. So we're just going to make sure this is all cohesive, and I think that's good. Okay, so the next step here, we're going to roll these out to a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and I'm just going to sprinkle the countertop down and make sure it's floury. And then I'm going to lightly, you want to very gently roll this dough out. We want it to 3/4 inch. I like to go with the 3/4 inch, which is probably right about there. Let's measure that. Yep, that's just about 3/4 inch. So roll this out just a little bit more. Try to square up those edges as much as possible. This just adds a little bit of an extra step, but it's interestingly so worth it. Okay, so now when you cut down like this, these layers that we're trying to create layers, it squishes the sides together so that you end up with the side like this, and there's no way for that biscuit to puff up as much. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and cut it so that the pressure is coming this way. And we're going to lay that on top of that one. and we're gonna lay it on top of that one, creating even more layers. Get some more flour on here. Pull this over. And now we're going to roll those out so that they're 3/4 of an inch again, but they've now got layers. Just squaring that up. That's a little thick. Let's measure that again. Yep. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to cut the edges off just ever so slightly so that you want to be very gentle with this. So it's square. Just gently cutting through that to leave that open. And then we're going to do the same thing down through the middle of this. I've made this wide enough. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut it like this. And if you look here, you can see the layers. You can really see them there. You've got layers going. See the layers, and that butter is going to make those pop even bigger than they would normally have popped. This recipe is great without doing this if you don't want to bother, but it takes very little time. And now I'm just going to pick up the biscuits. I'm going to put them on the cookie sheet. They're a little bit different size. Sometimes they come out better sized than this, but then we're going to put them in the oven for 5 minutes, and then we're going to turn the oven off and let them sit for another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, and I'm going to turn this oven off, and now we're gonna let them sit in here for another 5 to 10 minutes to make sure they get done. Don't open the oven. That's gonna be hard. You have to, if you don't have a light, just crack it a little bit to look at, after the next 5 minute mark. But they should be done soon.
They're baking away. Layers stacked higher than your weekend to-do list. After the break, you'll get to see why it was totally worth it. Welcome back. And I'll be honest, I took a peek. You aren't going to believe this.
Oh, those are so lovely. So these are browned perfectly on the top. And if you flip this over, that is a beautiful brown. And the height of these, I'll take this one, is phenomenal. And you can still see all the layers in there, and that makes for a flaky, you can see the butter. There's a piece of butter right there that popped. These holes in there that you're seeing, that's the butter popping. Those biscuits look amazing. And if you poke them like this, they're hot, I'll just do it, but if you poke these like this, they bounce right back. Just so you can see what I'm talking about with regards to the edges. But this is what you get when you cut with this type of cookie biscuit cutter. You get that rounded edge. And if you look in the very same biscuit where I left this edge so we could see, and you turn this over, any other edge that you look at has all of these layers that are showing. There's probably some edges under here because it puffed up somewhat, but cutting down with the knife so that you're not, smashing everything together makes the perfect biscuit. This is our biscuit, and I'm going to take this with a fork so that I don't cut through it and get rid of all of those luscious layers we've made. Okay, so here is the biscuit. It's nice and fluffy. It's got the layers, and it's time to give this baby a try. You can have these in the morning toasted or just like they are with a little bit of butter on them, strawberry shortcake, you name it. You can do a lot with these. Oh my goodness, that tastes so good. That is an amazing biscuit. It's not gummy. It is so moist. It's got a nice crunch on the crust. The butter taste comes through. It's really, really good. I hope you make these, and I would love to hear if you have success with them, because I think this is just a wonderful way to make these biscuits. Thank you. Oops, I've got something in my eye.
We've got more great videos for you to watch. So, until next time.
Thank you.